50 Shades Darker doesn't really have a plot to summarize, then again, neither did the first movie, but I can say that our favorite romantically confused couple are back to basically do nothing but date and screw. That is your summary for this movie. And boy, do these two screw. They are more ravenous than your average rabbit. I mean, they go at it like crazy, and those scenes, the sex scenes specifically, are terrible. God. And the worst part about them are not the sex scenes themselves, but the music that play over them. They're basically these slowed down versions of existing pop songs that play out, and occasionally you either have a male or female singer going, oh, 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 like they were in the process of climaxing at the end of the song. But in one of these scenes, early on when the two actors are just basically in the process of taking their clothes off, you have this guy going, whoa! I'm like, dude, if you just finished up just now at that moment, you clearly did something wrong just now. Then, in one of the other love scenes, you had a female singer singing that particular song and got to a point where the scene got hot and heavy. And then she went, wah! At a very high pitch, and I was like, ah, it's in my head. And the overall plot is non existent, and the characters are still terrible. I mean, in the things they say and do, it's still as frustrating as it was in the first movie. And to clarify, this movie isn't exactly better or worse. It is actually consistent with the first movie, and that's quite a milestone for a sequel. Of course, from the ending of the first movie, we knew that Christian and Anna were broken up. Now they get back together, but how they get together, or basically what happens before they get together, is they meet up at this art gallery, and Christian goes to Anna, asks her out for dinner, but Anna's reply is more like, yes, I will go out to dinner with you because I'm hungry and I want to eat. Yeah, that's stellar writing, all right. And besides, do you have to go out with old butt plug face to eat? You can't go out by yourself? Do you really need him to sit across from you at the table and look at you like... Because he still only has that singular facial expression, although his facial expressions do vary from time to time in this movie, but still, it's like... You recheck that x-ray, the doctor will go, nurse, I think we can determine that the object in question has traveled further inland. The patient might only have a few months left to live. And while there is really not much to talk about otherwise, this film really does make a piss-poor attempt at trying to build tension. First, it introduces this ex-submissive of Christian that basically lingers in the background for a while before eventually confronting Anna with a gun. And this movie actually does absolutely nothing with this subplot. It's basically, well, she confronts Anna with a gun. Christian comes in and basically controls her, has her down on her knees, and pets her like a freaking dog, which was weird as hell. I also have to add that Anna, despite refusing to do what Christian tells her from time to time, basically what happens, Christian would tell her what to do. She'd apparently refuse. He'd tell her again and that she'd do it anyway. So much for sticking up for yourself there, Chica. In this particular scene, when she's given an instruction to leave the room, again, she doesn't respond right away, and then he goes like, for once, just do as you're told. Dude, in case you haven't noticed, she has been doing what she was told all throughout this movie up to that point. Hello! She was even doing what she was told in the first movie. And of course, we also later find out that this girl was now committed to a mental institution, which Christian obviously owned. He's a billionaire. As it's been made clear, he practically owns everything, including the newspaper that Anna works for. But what's ironic about having this girl gone to a mental institution is that we find out that she was basically driven nuts because of Christian, and now she's in the nut house because of Christian. Wow. And in another subplot, which I'm not sure what it tried to do, is basically have this boss of Anna come on to her, suggesting that he wants her and he's probably going to rape her or whatever, and it's really done in this ham-fisted way. She escapes him, runs into Christian, tells him what the story is, and since Christian even owns the publisher, the company that Anna works for, the following day, he's fired at the snap of a finger. Problem solved. The subplot never even revisited. Same deal with the ex-girlfriend. And how they delved into the past of this ex-girlfriend, before I forget to mention this. You would swear that you were suddenly looking or watching an episode of either CSI or some kind of FBI-themed show. Because Christian practically pulls out this dossier, hands it to Anna, and explains her background. And he also keeps a dossier on Anna and everybody else. It's like literally a scene out of an FBI show. And then, in the poorest attempt to create suspense, you basically have Christian in this helicopter that malfunctions and begins to go down. How this scene is executed is atrocious. I mean, it looks terrible. In the cockpit with the actors, you look outside the window, you can see it's clearly green screen effects. It's not even properly rendered. The helicopter goes down, and believe it or not, you see the actual crash in the trailer, but you don't see it in the final film. And of course, the families get together, la la la. They mourn and they cry. It's like, oh, are they ever going to find him? Don't worry, love, they're going to find him. Not 2 minutes later, there's a news report coming in on the news. Search and rescue has located him, but in the next moment he walks in through the door. He has this gash on his head that is not treated, so he didn't receive any kind of medical attention. I'm like, what? Did search and rescue lose him again? Like, he's not there, he's actually here. I think you might have found somebody else. And like in the first one, Anna devotes her time to try and understand this overly confused dipshit. Because his behavior is strange, doesn't make sense, but the only explanation he gives for it is that's the way he is. Like, oh, yeah, right. And in regards to him not wanting to be touched, there is a scene where he suddenly has Anna take lipstick and draw on his chest to kind of like specify the area where she's not allowed to touch. And it's basically around the chest area that's associated with his breast, that portion of his chest. So probably it's to avoid her touching his nipples. In other words, he means to say he's actually woke. This movie, along with its predecessor, are both the worst. The one is not worse than the other. They are pretty consistent. I think I can go ahead and give it the same score, 1.5 out of 10. But quite frankly, I don't know how women could be taken with this story. I've heard of someone's wife who actually watched this movie more than once. Somebody asked her why. There's nothing to this film. There's no plot. Basically, somebody described it as socially justifiable porn that women are allowed to watch despite them making their boyfriends delete their own porn completely off their phones. Yeah, life is cruel. But in regards to usual porn, which is now porn for men, you don't watch them for the plot. You watch them for obvious reasons, and they deliver on those obvious reasons. When it comes to now what is regarded as porn for women, which is 50 Shades and whatever along those lines, you don't watch them for the plot or the porn because they have neither one. Honestly, this movie is terrible. And again, I reiterate my rating of 1.5 out of 10 for 50 Shades Darker.